Honorees, good afternoon and welcome to today's ceremony. Please be seated. It is my distinct honor to be on stage today with the Attorney General and with the Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General as we come together to congratulate and honor the recipients of the 3rd Annual Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing. On behalf of Director Phil Keith, who could not be with us today, the COPS Office feels privileged to play a part in administering this award, and we are proud to celebrate the individuals who embody such remarkable achievements in criminal investigations, field operations, and innovative community policing strategies. As we begin today's program, I would ask that you please stand for the presentation of colors by the Montgomery County, Maryland Police Department Color Guard and the singing of the national anthem by Dorothy Williams of the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ring clear, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in thanking the Montgomery County Police Department Color Guard and Ms. Williams for another beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Please be seated. We are gathered here today to celebrate the 19 honorees of this prestigious award. But before we get started, it's important to understand how over 400 nominees were narrowed down to those being honored today. Following the Attorney General's announcement of the open nomination period, law enforcement agencies, community members, and U.S. Attorney's offices from 39 states submitted 199 nominations for 414 line-level deputies, officers, and troopers, representing state, local, tribal, and campus departments, sheriff's offices, and other law enforcement agencies. The nominations went through several stages of review, starting with a panel consisting of representatives from 11 leading law enforcement stakeholder organizations and groups, followed by a federal review panel consisting of executive-level reviewers from across the Department of Justice. Recommendations based on those two processes were then submitted to the Attorney General for selection. It was an extensive process involving careful review of literally hundreds of impressive examples of law enforcement at its finest, doing the work that is all too often not seen on the nightly news, but we know represents the extraordinary work that takes place each and every day. On behalf of the COPS Office, please join me in congratulating the recipients of this year's award. And now it's my honor to introduce Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Claire McCusker Murray. Before coming to the department, Ms. Murray served as a Special Assistant to the President and Associate Counsel to the President of the United States. In that role, she advised the President regarding civil litigation, regulatory actions, and judicial nominations. Before joining the administration, Ms. Murray was a litigation and appellate partner with the international law firm of Kirkland & Ellis, where her practice focused on complex commercial litigation, constitutional litigation, and internal investigations. She has a remarkable record of public service. In addition to serving as the Associate White House Counsel, she served as a clerk for 2 of today's Supreme Court justices and in both appellate and line-level prosecutor roles at the Department of Justice. Please join me in welcoming Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Claire McCusker Murray.
Thank you, Rob, for that kind introduction, and thanks to both you and Director Phil Keith for your leadership at the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services. Thanks also to Dorothy Williams for gracing us with her beautiful voice this afternoon. The first duty of government at any level is to protect the safety of the citizens it serves. Whether you work as a state or local law enforcement officer, or whether you work here at the Department of Justice, we are all engaged in the critical work of protecting our communities. On behalf of the Department of Justice, I want to congratulate our awardees and their families on this wonderful honor. We all owe you a debt of gratitude for the vital role you play in guarding and strengthening the rule of law. You risk your lives daily to protect us and our families from violent crime, illicit drugs, and criminal gangs. Thank you for everything you have done to keep America safe. The Department of Justice understands and appreciates your work. Speaking of those who understand and appreciate your work, it is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General of the United States, William Barr. I am not exaggerating when I say that you have no better friend than Attorney General Barr. The Attorney General has devoted much of his career to public service. During graduate school and law school, he served in the CIA. Following law school, he clerked for Judge Malcolm Wilkie on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. And as a young lawyer, he left private practice to work in the White House under President Ronald Reagan on the domestic policy staff. Under President George H.W. Bush, he served as the Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Legal Counsel, the Deputy Attorney General, and the 77th Attorney General of the United States. While serving at the department during those years, General Barr helped create programs and strategies to reduce violent crime and was responsible for establishing new enforcement policies in a number of key areas, including financial institutions, civil rights, and antitrust merger guidelines. He also led the department's response to the savings and loan crisis, oversaw the investigation of the Pan Am 103 bombing, directed the successful response to the Talladega prison uprising and hostage-taking, and coordinated counterterrorism activities during the first Gulf War. General Barr has also worked extensively in positions of responsibility in the private sector. He served as Executive Vice President and General Counsel for GTE Corporation, Executive Vice President and General Counsel of Verizon, and was of counsel at the international law firm of Kirkland & Ellis. President Trump nominated General Barr to serve as the 85th Attorney General of the United States. He was confirmed by the Senate in February of 2019, making him one of only 2 people in U.S. history to serve twice as Attorney General. The other, by the way, was John Crittenden, Attorney General to Presidents Millard Fillmore and William Henry Harrison. Attorney General Crittenden also served as a U.S. Senator no fewer than 4 separate times, so Attorney General Barr should have plenty to occupy him once he retires from the department. Please join me in welcoming Attorney General William Barr.
Thank you very much, Claire. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming today. It's an honor for me to host and participate in this ceremony. And I'd like to thank Rob Chapman of our COPS office for organizing this event. And I'd like to thank Regina Lombardo and Udom Dillon, who head the ATF and DEA, and all my colleagues who are U.S. attorneys who have taken the time to join us today. And I'd like to thank all of our partner organizations who've helped make these awards possible. And I'd like to recognize each of them. The Fraternal Order of Police, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, the National Association of Women Law Enforcement Executives, the Major City Chiefs Association, the Major County Sheriffs of America, the National Association of Police Organizations, the Association of State Criminal Investigative Agencies, the Hispanic American Police Command Officers Association, the National Sheriff's Association, the National Law Enforcement Memorial and Museum, the National Association of Counties, the National Association of State Criminal Investigative Agencies, and the Police Executive Research Forum. Thank you all for participating. I want to pay special tribute to the law enforcement family members who are here. I want you to know that your sacrifice is not forgotten, and today's heroes served with distinction in no small part because of your love and support. As I said, it's my privilege to be here to present the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing. To my mind, there is no more noble profession than serving as a law enforcement officer. You put your life and well-being on the line to protect your communities, and your families spend anxious nights, night after night, so the rest of us can sleep in peace. That job has always been a difficult job, but it's probably been no time where it is more difficult than today. Not only do we have the problems of the scourge of drugs in our society and all its manifestations, and the problem of violent crime, a stubborn problem, but more and more law enforcement is called on to deal with a lot of the other problems in society that arise because maybe other people are not doing their jobs, and it devolves on law enforcement to be the first line to deal with some of these problems, whether it be problems of addiction or problems of mental illness. This profession these days calls on a special kind of bravery. I remember a long time ago when the first Gulf War was fought and the 24th Division rolled out of Fort Stewart, Georgia, and there were people cheering along the highway as they drove off to the port of embarkation. And then, of course, when the troops returned in victory, there was a ticker tape parade in several cities, including Washington, D.C., and rightly so. But when police officers roll out of their precinct every morning, there are no crowds along the highway cheering them on. And when you go home at the end of the day, there's no ticker tape parade. Now, one of the reasons is that we're fighting in law enforcement a different kind of conflict. We're fighting an unrelenting, never-ending fight against criminal predators in our society. And while there are battles won and lost each day, there is never a final resolution. A final victory is never in sight. And yet we and you continue to perform your duty of protecting the community day in and day out. And that takes a very special kind of courage to wage this kind of fight. a special kind of commitment, a special kind of sacrifice. You know, in the Vietnam era, our country learned a lesson. I remember that our brave troops who served in that conflict weren't treated very well in many cases when they came home. And sometimes they bore the brunt of people who were opposed to the war. And the respect and gratitude owed them was not given. And it took decades for the American people finally to realize that. And I'm very happy today when I'm at an airport and troops come through, coming back or being deployed. There's frequently everything stops and they get a round of applause because people recognize that that's the right thing to do for these people who are serving us. But I think today American people have to focus on something else, which is the sacrifice and the service that is given by our law enforcement officers. And they have to start showing more than they do, the respect and support that law enforcement deserves. And if communities don't give that support and respect, they may find themselves without the police protection they need. It's an honor for me in a small way to show that recognition today. We recognize 19 men and women who have served their communities with special distinction. And while many of today's awards recognize officers who acted courageously in the face of mortal peril, including quick action to prevent a murder and neutralize an active shooter, others are given to recognize exceptional community outreach, commitment to difficult investigations, and innovation in law enforcement technology and tactics. This year also marks the first time that this award is being given posthumously. Detective William Maldonado is being commended for his investigation into a shocking murder spree conducted by members of the MS-13 gang in Suffolk County, New York, throughout 2016. By successfully managing intelligence from numerous sources and coordinating with local police precincts, Detective Maldonado was able to help his team end the killings and bring the perpetrators to justice and deal a crippling blow to MS-13's influence in Suffolk County. As if those actions were not heroic enough, throughout the investigation, Detective Maldonado remained laser-focused and dedicated to his duty, despite an ongoing battle against cancer. Sadly, he lost that fight in 2018, but not before all of the victims' remains were recovered and the perpetrators were brought to justice. Please join me in thanking Detective Maldonado's family for his selfless sacrifice. Now, as we reflect on the contributions of Detective Maldonado and each of the other individuals we honor today, we should hold them up as examples of bravery and excellence that continue to inspire our own commitment to the cause of justice, and also as reminders of the best qualities exhibited throughout our law enforcement community. In closing, I want to thank you again for all that you do. Thank you for keeping us safe where we live and work. Ever since the first settlers in Massachusetts established the Night Watch in 1635, America has had a proud tradition of professionals who stand guard against those who would do us harm. And you, are the latest in that noble line. This administration will always have your back. And so, to all of you, award winners, family members, and others, thank you for your exemplary service, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Attorney General Barr, for your remarks. Now we will begin the conferring of the medals. We will read the names and provide a summary about each award recipient, and you can refer to your program for more information about each one. In the category of criminal investigations, for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is posthumously awarded to Detective William Maldonado of the Suffolk County Police Department in New York. To accept the award on behalf of Detective Maldonado, we are honored to have with us today members of his family. Joining us are Detective Maldonado's mother, Ms. Cynthia Maldonado, his daughters, Nicole and Brooklyn, and his significant other, Ms. Christine Tamaro.
Detective William Maldonado was assigned to assist in the investigation of the disappearance of a young man. Intelligence gathered by Detective Maldonado indicated the missing boy was a murder victim of MS-13. Without the detective's work, along with his team, the murder spree would no doubt have continued. Instead, several dozen people were arrested and charged with 17 murders. The Suffolk County MS-13 sailor clique was eliminated, and several other cliques were disrupted. Detective Maldonado accomplished this while battling cancer and rarely missed work. He succumbed to his illness in 2018, but not before arrests were made in the cases.
In the category of criminal investigations for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Detective George Duarte and Detective Jeffrey Richards of the Providence Police Department in Rhode Island.
Providence detectives George Duarte and Jeffrey Richards are being recognized for their extraordinary investigative work in solving an abduction and sexual assault case of a 14-year-old girl. Their investigation not only solved that case, but also led to solving several other cases of sexual assault by the same suspect. Because of their work, the detectives were able to have this vicious predator removed from the community, victims of other unreported crimes were helped, and justice was brought to a number of other victims.
In the category of criminal investigations for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Detective Kenneth Seeley and Detective Sandra Marquez of the Aventura Police Department in Florida.
Aventura detectives Sandra Marquez and Kenneth Seeley are being recognized for their investigative work in solving several high-dollar fraud schemes. During an intense investigation involving a large credit card fraud ring operating in South Florida, the detectives identified approximately $194,000 in fraudulent transactions and seized another $218,000. Another case involved money laundering, which included a loss of almost $4 million over 3 years. The detectives are continuing this important work in coordination with several federal agencies.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Evan Jurgensen, Officer Nicholas Kelly, Officer Rachel Minear, and Officer John Yenchek of the Prince William County Police Department in Virginia.
In November 2018, the Prince William County Police Department received a call reporting an active shooter. Within minutes of responding to the scene, Officer Evan Jurgensen, Officer Nicholas Kelly, Officer Rachel Minear, and Officer John Yenchek had to take cover from gunfire. Officer Minear noticed movement on the roof of a residence and transmitted a warning to incoming units, and in doing so, saved lives. After the shooter ignored officers' commands, he was eventually struck and fell to the ground. Although officers feared a possible second shooter, they exposed themselves to harm once again to extract the shooter for medical treatment, and also pulled an occupant from the residence to safety. The heroism demonstrated by each officer represents true courage.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Deputy Richard Hasna of the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, California.
Deputy Richard Hasna is being recognized for his innovative use of small unmanned aerial systems for public safety operations. In 2018, during the deadly campfire in Butte County, Deputy Hasna led more than 16 unmanned aerial vehicle teams and conducted 517 flights in 2 days, taking more than 70,000 images. These images were stitched into a map that allowed residents to see the damage to their property without being exposed to danger. This was likely the largest response of small unmanned aerial systems to a disaster scene in U.S. history. Deputy Hasna has also developed tactics and training for this technology that has redefined high-risk tactical operations and air support as we know it.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Deputy Ross Jessup of the Missoula County Sheriff's Office in Montana.
Deputy Ross Jessup is being recognized for his action and dedication to duty in saving the life of a kidnapped baby. In July 2018, the Sheriff's Office received a call about a man with a gun who had fled in a vehicle with his girlfriend's infant son. 1 hour later, the suspect appeared back on the scene without the baby. The suspect said he had killed and buried the baby, but his irrational statements led investigators to search for the missing child. During Deputy Jessup's search in more than 1 million acres of forest, he heard a faint whimper and found a baby boy lying face down. To his surprise, the baby was alive and uninjured. There is no question Deputy Jessup's instincts, perseverance, and dedication saved the child's life.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Aaron Bates and Officer Alexander Stotic of the Cohasset Police Department in Massachusetts.
Cohasset officers Aaron Bates and Alexander Stotic are being recognized for their courageous actions that saved the life of a woman who was being brutally attacked. The officers were dispatched to a home where neighbors complained of loud noises and a fight. After investigating, the officers heard a muffled scream, kicked in a locked door, and saw what they described as an attempted murder in progress. After a heated struggle, the officers were able to subdue the suspect, place him under arrest, and get medical attention for the victim. The officers exhibited extraordinary valor, bravery, courage, and professionalism in the face of extreme danger that would no doubt have resulted in the murder of the victim.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Fallon McFate of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in Nevada.
In 2017, Officer Fallon McFate developed Project Daybreak, an initiative used to address violent crime hotspots in downtown Las Vegas neighborhoods. Since it started, Project Daybreak has significantly contributed to decreasing violent crime, down by 50% in these neighborhoods. Through positive police interactions, Officer McFate was able to create transparency and build trust in neighborhoods where these previously did not exist. The success of Project Daybreak is a direct result of Officer McFate's passion and commitment to her community.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Jesse Guardiola of the Tulsa Police Department in Oklahoma.
Officer Jesse Guardiola is being recognized for the Hispanic outreach program he has developed, which provides survival Spanish language training and educates law enforcement and the community on the immigrant Hispanic culture. The program has received national recognition and is being promoted as a national model for Hispanic community outreach. Through his efforts, Officer Guardiola is building bridges and making a difference in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Detective Anthony Roberson of the Providence Police Department in Providence, Rhode Island.
Detective Anthony Roberson is being recognized for his use of community policing initiatives that build partnerships between law enforcement and local businesses to support underserved families. The Shop with a Cop program has now served 300 children. The Handshake Initiative has grown from 40 to 200 mentors and is benefiting families of all backgrounds across the city. Through these programs, Detective Roberson is giving back to his community, increasing partnerships and building bridges between law enforcement, families, and businesses.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Jonathan Plunkett of the Irving Police Department in Texas.
In August 2016, after the murder of 5 police officers in Dallas, Officer Jonathan Plunkett began working on an outreach initiative to bridge the gap between the African American community and law enforcement. The idea was to connect with the community in places where residents would feel comfortable and be open to sharing their concerns and engaging in dialogue. Officer Plunkett knew that barbershops would work. The initiative, which began with 1 shop, has now increased to 16 shops and is known as Shop Talk. Through Shop Talk, Officer Plunkett has created a way to build mutual trust and respect between law enforcement and community members who had not been reached with traditional police outreach efforts.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Detective Kathleen Lucero of the Isleta Tribal Police Department in New Mexico.
Isleta Tribal Police Department Detective Kathleen Lucero is being recognized for community policing initiatives that provide resources to impoverished youth and build connections between law enforcement and the community. Through the annual Reaching for a Star initiative, Detective Lucero provides gifts and food to more than 150 children and their families during the holiday season. And through her Camp Courage program, 60 children participate in a youth camp every summer. Detective Lucero's on- and off-duty dedication cannot be overstated and has made a true impact on the community.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Policing is awarded to Officer Troy Quick of the Conyers Police Department in Georgia.
Officer Troy Quick is making a lasting impact on the youth within his community. As a school resource officer at Rockdale County High School, Officer Quick has been able to help a number of students leave gang life. Whether it is through the mentoring sessions he coordinates for students, donating items to families in need, or just taking an interest in students' daily lives, Officer Quick is a true example of dedication and service.
Please join me in thanking Attorney General Barr for his participation here today. And thanks to all of you for attending today's ceremony. It's been a wonderful event, and once again, I congratulate all of our honorees. Let's give each of the award recipients another round of applause.